Bruce Banner and the Hulk are currently trapped in hell, while Joe Fixit is now the new Red Hulk, and there's a child Hulk who can't even make himself strong anymore. This is the Immortal Hulk series, and you are at the Comicstorian channel. This is where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. The Immortal Hulk storyline follows the story of Bruce Banner finally snapping. He has multiple clear personalities, from Bruce Banner to Devil Hulk to Joe Fixit to Savage Hulk, and apparently even Red Hulk is in this area. We've discovered that when a Hulk or gamma-irradiated individual dies, they go down to a special version of hell, where they could use the green door to escape hell. While other individuals in hell have decided the ability to escape hell would be very useful to them. So they're trying to manipulate Bruce Banner and his multiple personalities to die and let them get out of hell. This has caused a lot of issues, such as Doc Samson being trapped in the wrong body, and other individuals being merged into the same body. But as it stands right now, Bruce Banner himself is currently at the deepest level of hell, being manipulated by the leader, who has found a way to take control of the one below all and become this ultimate powered being who is now trying to escape hell. On top of that, on the surface, Joe Fixit and the child version of Hulk, aka the Savage Hulk, are battling against the UFOs and Alpha Flight, and Joe Fixit discovered that he can become the Red Hulk. I know it's a lot to catch up on, but the entire playlist is down below. This is issue 46 of a 50-issue series, so yes, it does get confusing. And if you don't want to miss another episode of Immortal Hulk, please consider hitting that subscribe button, smashing that like button like you're the Hulk, and checking us out over at Patreon, where we allow you to vote on the series coming to the channel. And don't forget to check out your local comic book store to get the next issue, because we are going to be fully caught up as of this video. Alright, let's get into Immortal Hulk issue 46 to 48. While Joe Fixit relishes in his newfound power to become the Red Hulk, back at Shadow Base Site G, Samson is scratching his chin, currently trapped in the body of Sasquatch, asking a very important question. What now? Puck says that it is a very good question. Hate to say it, but your body's in the wind. We just have to hope the leader isn't wearing whatever you've become. Samson tells him no, it's Legowski. He ran off with it. Jackie asks, Walter? Are you sure? And Samson tells them, I have to admit, I don't have much more of a hunch right now, but it feels right. I'm in Legowski's body, so he took mine and ran with it. Shaman reaches into his pocket, stating that they are in quasi-magical territory now. Important details will come to them, hunches included. As he pulls out a small device, Charlene asks what is it, and Shaman tells her, a radio, just a simple radio. When he turns it back on, the radio crackles and begins to broadcast the ongoing fight in the streets of New York. Shaman turns it back on, stating, see, quasi-magical territory. Charlene says that they need to help the Hulk, but Puck tells her that's a line we'd be crossing, from Greenwich's bad books to the most wanted list. We need to think carefully before Alpha Flight is helping the Hulk. Just then Rick says, Bruce, hard to think, separate thoughts. But Bruce, he saved me. So I save him always. We save him, please. Charlene says that she's obviously in, and Puck says, fine. We'll take a vote. All in favor? Everyone but Shaman raises their hands, and Puck says, okay, motion carried. If Hulk needs help, Gamma Flight is coming to the rescue. But it isn't the Hulk who needs help. Meanwhile, over in New York, Joe's smile widens as he asks, all right, who's up first? And Ironclad charges in, telling him, right here! About time we had ourselves a real fight! Ironclad swings and Joe ducks, telling him, down low! And as the second comes, Joe catches him, telling him, too slow! And he begins to crush Ironclad's head. As Joe's thumb dig in and press into Ironclad's head, he yells out to stop. And X-Ray yells that they have to do something! He's killing Mike! Ironclad's head is almost beginning to melt as Joe is mangling it, until Vector blows him away, telling Vapor, turn into an anesthetic or something to help. Vapor yells, the hell with that, she's gonna turn into a sulfuric acid gas. It'll be her gift to the Hulk as his face melts off. Joe grins, inhaling her, telling her, oh, you shouldn't have. And he holds it. Vector stares as Joe walks up, blowing vapor back into Vector's face. He screams out as his eyes are burning out of his skull. And then Vapor changes composition, telling him, I'm so sorry, I can neutralize the burning with... Vector begins to frantically swat away at Joe, begging him, just get away, leave me alone. But before he knows it, Joe is soaring through the sky laughing. All you had to do was ask. Vector Express, the only way to travel. A short while later, Greenwich asks, "You're telling me you had him and you threw the Hulk away?" X-Ray yells that Vector blasted him back towards Manhattan. Maybe, but something bulked him up and he was unstoppable. Greenwich says, "That isn't good enough. You work for me now, UFOs. When I give you a task, I expect you to carry it out." Vapor then shouts, "We had him down, ready for collection and containment. Maybe if you weren't slow, Vector wouldn't be blind. What are you going to do about that?" Greenwich sighs, grabbing his phone. "Something I will likely regret." And as he gets ready to make the call, the Avengers logo appears. Meanwhile, over in Manhattan, Joe walks into a bar telling the bartender, "I'm in a champagne kind of mood. Go ahead and put it on my tab." The bartender looks at him. "You're the Hulk." And Joe tells him, "How about that? The TV didn't lie. There's a place where everyone knows your name." As the bartender begins to pour pitchers for Joe, Joe drinks them, telling him, "Ain't tasting like they used to. Get me some whiskey, that'll help." The bartender begins to grab the bottles and pour them into a bucket when a voice says, "Then I shall have the mead, and 'twas served in legend." Joe turns as Mjolnir rockets in, hitting him in the chin, knocking him down. He gets up asking, "What is this? You want a rematch?" "Ain't really in the mood for." Thor slams the hammer down, telling him, "Be silent. When we clashed before, you surprised me, thus humbled a god. And now you face the king of gods." Joe gets up asking, "So? Am I supposed to bow or something? You changed your play clothes, but you still have that silver spoon lodged right up your..." Thor calls down the thunder. "Enough! And more than enough!" After being electrocuted, Joe charges forward, punching throughout the building, yelling, "I will not bow down to you! Hulk does not bow down to anyone! Not when I was weak, not when I was stuck in his banner, and not when there's no hope for all. Not even when I was dead." But Joe steps out, and that's when he sees all of the Avengers there ready to fight. Black Panther tells him, "Even with your strength restored, it is 7 against 1. You have no chance, Hulk." At that moment, another voice says, "No, against 2. And as everyone looks up, they see Betty in her Harpy form perched on the lamp post. Within seconds, the street becomes a battleground for an all-out brawl with Joe and Betty against the Avengers. As Blade stabs his sword into Joe's back, he asks, "Does the Hulk get stronger at night? Because those are some vampire signs." Joe rips him off his back, telling him, "I have a quick question. Can you turn into a bat?" Blade pauses for a moment and tells him, "No." And Joe launches him into the air. "Well, it might be time to learn." Cap yells for Iron Man to go, and as Iron Man says the Hulk is just trying to split them up, Black Panther tells him, "And we retain the advantage. A single disciplined warrior is enough against a raging beast." As Black Panther charges his energy daggers, Joe asks, "Discipline, huh? How'd that work out for you last time?" Black Panther discharges the daggers into Joe's eyes, telling him, "Back then I offered mercy. I attempted dialogue. And the Hulk taught me my lesson." But across the street, Betty is pressing down with her talons on Captain Marvel's chest as She-Hulk says, "Please, words harder in this form. We can still." And Betty yells, "No! Words aren't hard. They're small, puny little boxes. They hide thoughts, so they say less and more. Yes?" She-Hulk stops. "You know?" And Carol says, "Good! Keep her distracted." As Betty is struck with a cosmic blast, She-Hulk yells, "No! I was talking!" Carol flies up, "Yeah, to her. And while you were doing that, she was also crushing my ribs. We're all not Gamma people, Jen." Just then a light begins to shine, and a familiar voice yells, "Sorry we're late to the party. We had to stop for a couple of extra guests. As Carol can tell, we're Gamma Flight, and we like to officially take control of the situation, rather than do the other thing." With Creel and Titania joining the crew, making it an even fight, Samson calls out to Thor, "Wait! If you could release the Hulk and Harpy into my care." And Carol yells, "Whoever you are, Gamma Flight does not have jurisdiction over the Hulk anymore. You will just have to leave." Joe continues to taunt the Thor, so much so that Thor summons a lightning strike so concentrated that it rips part of Joe's arm off. Charlene raises her rifle, stating, "So much for the easy option," and Samson tells her, "Wait!" And Charlene pulls the trigger, hitting Carol Danvers. Carol says, "You know I can absorb energy, right?" And Charlene says, That's why I didn't bring a gun. It's a measuring device that feeds biodata to a translocation platform to make sure you have a safe trip. As Carol begins to disappear, Charlene says, "Don't worry, I sent her to a base in Arizona. She'll be fine." Titania begins to walk towards She-Hulk. "What are we going to do about Shulky here?" And Betty steps between them, stating, "She's with me. She has seen the door, haven't you?" She-Hulk stops in her tracks. Yes, I have." Thor then strikes Joe with Mjolnir, yelling, "A gift to you! My rage heaped on an altar, a fitting tribute for Midgard's god of wrath." But before Thor can end it, Joe gets up, slapping his disfigured flesh against his face when suddenly Joe's arm solidifies, trapping Thor's head within. Joe laughs. "It's the old regrow the arm trick. Like it? Now talk some more about how you know me." Thor begins to aimlessly hit Joe in the arm, and Cap yells that he can't breathe. And Joe asks, "Oh, is that right? He can't finish what he started? Ain't that a shame?" But then Black Panther charges his claws, telling him, "That's an interesting trick. Mind showing me again?" And the claws easily slice through Joe's skin, cutting the arm off again. Charlene begins to get ready to teleport another when Cap throws his shield, telling her, "I appreciate the non-lethal approach, but I can't allow you to." But that's when Cap notices the shield not returning, and when he looks back, he stares as Del Fry chews on the shield, and Rick Jones asks, "Don't I know you?" Cap sees Rick trapped in the body of another man, mangled together with a different soul. Who did this to you?" And Joe asks, "Are you kidding? It's who it always was. It's Sam Stearns." But before he could finish, Black Panther plunges it down with a spear made of pure energy, ripping through Joe's shoulder, pinning him to the ground. Joe screams, trying to fight Black Panther off, and Betty looks at She-Hulk, waiting to see what she'll do. She hesitates for a moment and then says, "Damn you. Damn all of you." And with a thundering clap, she aims the shockwave carefully to blow the Avengers away, giving Charlene the time to prime the translocation platform. Puck yells to everyone to hurry and get on, they're leaving. So Betty picks up Joe and Charlene and says, "Don't worry, there's enough room for us," and teleports them all away. Titania looks over at She-Hulk getting on the platform, asking what the hell is she? And She-Hulk says, "All the Hulks." A few seconds later, at a Brooklyn hideout, everyone teleports in, and Titania says that they have their own place, and everyone is welcome to join, except Walter's there. Speaking of, why did you even help us? She-Hulk couldn't figure out why herself, so she wrestled between the thoughts of Jen and She-Hulk, but there was something else that was confusing her. She says, "Hulk, Jen did not expect that." And everyone looks over in the direction that she is looking, to see Joe and Betty kissing. Later in the bedroom of the hotel suite in Manhattan, Joe begins to unzip his pants, stating, "Gotta ask, what are we doing?" Betty, still in her Harpy form, tells her not to make so much noise, they're hiding. And Joe says, "Is this a joke? Since when do you start cracking wise?" She tells him since now, why not? He doesn't find this funny? The old married couple? Joe sits up. "No, this is different. You married Banner. I ain't Banner, remember? And your real husband ain't here." She changes back into her human form, stating that she doesn't remember the Hulk being so sensitive. Joe stares, telling her that he forgot how quick she can do that, but she better not be expecting him to do the same. He was in Banner's body long enough to last a lifetime. She sits up, telling him not to change the subject. He talks about Bruce not being around. He means that Bruce doesn't want to come out, right? Even though she came back to help them, Bruce hasn't been present with her since he returned from the dead. Before even that, he avoided her for months. Then when he finally got the courage to face her, when he got her killed, it woke up what was inside, the gamma, and everything else that she's been absorbing for years. He didn't like the look of that, the look of her, but as a Joe, he always did. Right from the start, he always saw the real Betty, the real Harpy. That's the difference. This is her, this is them, it's theirs. Don't be the Hulk, don't smash it up. Joe pauses for a moment. Damn. Banner isn't hiding from you. He's gone. He's in hell or someplace below hell. It's leader stuff. Stearns is back and he's there and he's got Banner. When Stearns took Banner, he was weak, in chains in Banner's head. We couldn't have stopped it. But he was down there again just before you showed up, down in hell, as a Hulk, strong as he's ever was. But he didn't look like Banner. I was just looking out for myself. Betty quietly starts to process all of this and transforms, screaming, "You left Bruce in hell!" Out in the living room, She-Hulk, as Jen, tells Jackie that it sounds like they're back to screaming at each other again. She's starting to think that she should have gone with Titania. At least they'd only probably try to kill her once. And thankfully, having a lot of money can get you some decent soundproofing rooms. Back inside, Betty asks, "What else are you not saying?" And Joe tells her, "Nothing. If I wanted to lie, I could have said that I didn't remember. We don't usually. Look, I was in the moment, reacting. And now it's done. I got me and the kid out, but Banner's still there. It's done. I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do." Betty stops him. "You're sorry? No, you don't know how to be sorry. You want to look sorry, but that's just camouflage to hide the real you, the you that just cares about himself. Sometimes I can ignore that part of you. Sometimes you could even make me happy. We laugh together. Sometimes isn't enough. This is you, the selfish part of Bruce, the part that takes, and not the part that hides, like Bruce did. Not that part, I thought. But I forgot this was your life away from me. Joe Fixit in Vegas, hiding. You, Bruce, all of you. And I always come back, and then you hide again. It's all we have. It's all we are. Hide and seek." Joe tells her, "Yeah, well, I'm done hiding." Betty asks, "What? You want to make a move now? We're still being hunted." And Joe tells her, "No, I mean it. I don't want to hide from you anymore." Betty says, "Well, there's no point anyway. There's nothing that I haven't seen." And Joe tells her, "There's one thing. Banner got beat half to death by his father. And while his father was off sleeping it off, while his ma wasn't there, he watched a black and white movie through his black eyes. Somewhere in there is the idea of what a grown-up is. Someone who can take the pain. That's what I started as, a kid's idea of a man. I can talk tough, I can crack wise. And if you piss me off, I'll beat you half to death. Maybe I'll make you hurt so bad you'll never recover. Maybe you'll enjoy it, because that's what a grown-up is. But that ain't me anymore. It's not what I want to be." Betty stares for a moment and asks, "So? So what?" Joe's silent for a moment and tells her, "So? I love you, so that. I don't want to not say it anymore. I'm sick of not saying it. It was always you. For me, it was always and always and always." She looks away asking, what does she do with that he hid from her? A whole life in Vegas. She thought he was dead. She cried, she hurt, he hurt her. Not Bruce, Joe Fixit. As Betty climbs out the window, Joe tells her, us, all of us, the whole damn mental system, we're messed up. We're messed up, we're dumb, we're angry, and we don't know how to fix it. Why Hulk hurt so much? That's all of us. And we all don't know a damn thing. But I want to learn, I want to be better. I want to be a better him. Betty asks, do you really? And Joe says, who the hell knows is the answer. But since I started coming out in the day, I started thinking about stuff more. Thinking about people more. And I like how that feels. It's a good thing. So is that good enough? Am I good enough? Am I a good person now? When Joe looks back at Betty for an answer, she's already gone. All right, I guess I'll count to 1,000. A few moments later, Joe steps out of the bedroom stating that Betty took off. Don't everyone look shocked. She-Hulk pauses. Hulk not surprised. And Jackie asks, what is the plan? Joe tells her, good question. He's been reacting ever since Shadow Base Hell. Hiding, letting the world come to him, and that ain't him. Not anymore. You want to know who's a good person? Nobody's a good person. Nobody's anything but what they've done and what they've got done. Time to start getting things done. It's time we went to hell and find Bruce. Ready or not. And there you have it. Immortal Hulk 46 to 48, leaving us with 2 last issues that are currently coming out. Hopefully, we won't have too much of a delay, but don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, join us at Patreon if you want to see the epic finale to Immortal Hulk. I've had a lot of fun with this series, and I hope you guys have as well. I know it took us a while to get back to us, but remember, this comic kind of got held up by COVID, and then I was just waiting for enough to bring you constant content like this. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I will see you next time right here.